There is a clear difference in what policymakers, experts, and industry leaders see as short-term and long-term risks. That is the finding of the World Economic Forum's new Global Risk Report, which shows the cost of living crisis is set to dominate the risk landscape for the next 2 years, while mitigating climate change does remain the priority in the long term. Now, I spoke to Klint, who is risk management leader for continental Europe at Marsh, one of the firms that co-produced the report. And I asked her what stood out in comparison to previous years.
We're looking at something that feels new, but at the same time eerily familiar. So we see a return of some older risks that we felt we had made good progress in terms of solving, but that are now very much back on the risk map. So for example, an energy crisis, we're looking at food scarcity, we're looking at the cost of living crisis. So there's a lot there.
Yeah, I think one of the major risks that jumped out to me, and it's not a surprise, it wouldn't be a surprise for anyone who's been following economics over the last couple of years, is that most respondents are saying that the largest risk they perceive right now is a cost of living crisis. So can you flesh that out for us in more detail?
Yes, and that's absolutely right. And it's a crisis that we're very much in the middle of right now, trying to manage through. And the impact that that has on the most vulnerable sections of society is of course very difficult to accept, and governments are now really working towards mitigating that impact at the same time as they're trying to protect from spiraling inflation and servicing historically high debt loads. So it's not an easy situation.
No, but what I thought was interesting is that you have your 2-year global risk and your 10-year global risk, and while cost of living features very high on the 2-year horizon, it does not feature at all on a 10-year horizon. So there is perhaps a reception out there that governments will be able to come to a solution eventually to deal with this cost of living crisis.
Correct, and I would interpret it as a bit of optimism actually, that we'll be able to navigate out of this, financial distress that we're in currently, which is a result of a compounding crisis. I mean, it's an effect of the COVID-19 pandemic, but also, of course, the impact of Russia-Ukraine, which has had a spillover effect on so many different areas.